Brother, honor and privilege. You run around a lot like a headless chicken, which is crazy. But dude, why do we get into this? You just said it's like a personal blog, which is awesome. Get that accountability and the structure into your daily routine, weekly routine, right? But what got you into this?
So I actually first started running in 2018. I was doing CrossFit at the time, and a close friend was doing the Great North Run, half marathon, and suggested I gave it a go. Never really ran any sort of distance at the time. So bought some running trainers, done a few 5Ks, a few 10Ks, done the first race, and absolutely fell in love with it. It was really hard. Heart rate was really high, but there was just something about just pounding the pavement. It was a sense of achievement when you were doing it. And from there, I just got it into a daily routine. And as you constantly doing it on a regular basis, you start getting a little bit quicker, your fitness improves, you notice that your heart rate drops, your resting heart rate, and you just start feeling a lot better in yourself as well. So it's a bit of a confidence booster.
Mm.
So within the 4 years, there's been a few ups and downs. I actually got a calf tear in 2019, which knocked me back for about 8 weeks. But it just drove me to work harder in the gym to then get back out onto the road and just keep progressing. And it's been a really good journey. But I think now it's embedded as a habit more than anything, because the feeling that I get from going for a run is like nothing I'd ever experienced before. They refer to it as a runner's high, essentially. And that dopamine release that you get, especially running first thing in the morning, whether that be pitch black, dark, raining, or if you've got a beautiful sunrise, it doesn't make any difference. You just learn to get that embedded into your daily routine, because you know how good it's going to make you feel when you've done it.
I I'm fascinated how we all experience that, right? But we just choose different poison to do it. You know, you got running, I like lifting, other people might like swimming, Zumba, whatever it is, right? And we experience the same little hit of dopamine and we walk out with our chin up and our chest out, right? And it's cool because
Absolutely.
we all feel the same shit, but we're doing different things to be able to feel
Absolutely.
that.
Totally. And I think for me, it's now that I've got the confidence with being able to run essentially any distance that I choose. And last year, I decided to go for an ultra. So that was 55K. That was local to where I live. And that was a massive challenge. It was a really hot day and I'd never run that distance before. But I didn't want to fail it. So a key element of that was obviously training prior, but also good music. So good music choice for me, it brings that euphoric buzz whilst you're running. So if you get like the rolling beat of a particular set of tracks, it just helps you get into a rhythm. It makes you feel good when you're running. When you feel good when you're running, you push a little bit harder as well. And it's like a conditioning. So as an example, with their friend locally, we went and ran a marathon on Sunday morning. No training. We just decided that we fancied going for a run up and down the Tyne River, which is local to where we live. And that buzz has probably lasted a couple of days, and I still feel good from it now. And I think that's one of the biggest drivers to do it.
So you just was like, yeah, fuck it, we'll just go out and run 26.2 mile.
Pretty much, yeah. And a lot of people question why, but all I would say is if you're thinking about getting out there and go for a run or whatever it may be, and you haven't got that confidence, just give it a go. There's different ways of doing it. You can do the couch to 5K. You can essentially run for a couple of minutes, walk for a couple of minutes, whatever it may be. And I appreciate that running's not for everybody. Of course, it's not. That's why there's so many different sport opportunities and activities to do. But it's just that elevated mindset when you're finished as well. It's actually changed my perspective on life. But I also tie that into a lot of cold water dipping as well. So I do a lot of cold water exposure after the running. So you get the benefit of the dopamine hit from the run, but again, even twice over from the cold water. So the stress reduction from that sort of process is insane, mate. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm now able to cope with extremely stressful situations at work so much better than I ever could have done without it. And I truly believe that it's because of the exercise routine and the sort of rigidity of the routine that I'm embedded in that's helping it.
Talk to me about how it reduces that stress.
So for me, if I have a busy mind, so I could have had a really busy day at work, could have a restless night's sleep, whatever it may be. If I get up in the morning and initially go for that run, get that done, get into the water, there's something about being in the water that really pushes the boundaries of your limits, because I mean, we're talking about the North Sea in England, and it's roughly 6 degrees on a good day at the
It's
minute.
freezing.
It's freezing cold. I mean, yesterday morning I went in and the air temperature was -2. So you could imagine how cold it would feel on your body when you get out. But it slows everything down. It slows your mind down. It slows your thought process down, and it actually helps you think a lot clearer. I normally describe it to people when they ask why I do it. It's essentially that you're within a golden bubble, so it's almost like a bit of protection. So you're protecting yourself from external elements to allow you not to be affected by negative or whatever it may be coming towards you, and it makes you a lot more efficient in what you do. And for me, with the kind of work that I do, I find it absolutely critical to make sure that I'm always performing as best as I possibly can. And obviously, you have good days, you have bad days, but it certainly helps a massive, massive amount with the stress reduction as well by doing that.
Forces you to center yourself, right, and deal with the present. You know, you can't be thinking about what you did yesterday. You can't be thinking about what you got coming up today. It's like, no, no, no. You're freezing your tits off here, literally.
Yeah,
You know, you've got to
absolutely.
be center, boom, let go of everything else, calm your heart rate down if you can. You
Yeah.
know, and I think it's a really great tool that everybody can use. Like, I get the same in the sauna, man. You know,
Mhm.
being northern boys, like we're not built for that sauna. You know, we're not built
No,
for the heat, mate.
absolutely. No,
Um,
that's very true. Very, very true. But I think, yeah, so you've got like the hot exposure, the cold exposure. We actually experienced, on one of the local beaches, they're currently doing a sauna pod. So it's essentially
oh,
a
wow.
tent with a little set of coals inside it in a little unit. So you go down there, you spend, say, 15 minutes in the sauna, get your body temperature up to whatever it may be, and then you go into the cold water, and then you come back and you repeat that 3 or 4 times within a time scale. That was a new experience for me, and that was again fantastic. The dopamine release was amazing, and that one was actually really common to allow a nice, relaxed, and good night's sleep as well on the evening, because it was quite a late one that we went down to.
Wow. It's awesome, isn't it? Right, because we're coming up with these, but we've had them for a long time, but now they're coming to the forefront of there's more ways that we can feel good, guys, rather than just shooting up cigarettes, jerking off, gambling, whatever it might be, right? And we're like, okay, well,
Yeah,
we know where that takes us now. You know, we've got examples coming out of our ears of where that takes us, and most of us has had a little dabble in it anyway. And you're like, okay, great.
yeah,
We can't be doing that. So now we have to find other ways, right, of being able to clear the mind, being able to look after the body, being able to center yourself, being able to just kind of feel good at the end of the day. And I think
yeah,
it's so cool just seeing more and more people getting into the cold sea or going into the sauna or going out for a run or stretching, you know, at the dinner time. You know, they
yeah,
go to the local yoga studio and they just go for a little bit of a stretch rather than sat scrolling through YouTube or going out for a pie or something like that, right? It's like, no, 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 no. Like, that is just a spiral. It just goes down and down and down. You've got to stop that and be able
absolutely.
to build a better habit at the end of the day.
You do, and I think they say that it takes, I think it's 8 weeks or something to build a habit. And for me, like my routine would be to try and get to bed between 9 and 10 on a night time, but I'll be up at 4:45 every morning without fail, ready to go for a run. I go to the gym, and it's been part of that process for such a long period of time now that I don't even think about it. I used to struggle to get up in the mornings and snooze the alarm for 15-20 minutes thinking that extra time in bed would help. Whereas now, if I wake up, like for example, this morning I was up at 4 a.m. I just got up and I just done the morning routine a little bit sooner. But it just gives you more time in the morning. It's almost like a feeling of empowerment because you're essentially up before a large proportion of the people that are around you. It's peaceful, it's quiet, and you can be away with your own thoughts, just enjoying your local area. I mean, I'm lucky I live right next to the coast, so I can essentially run up and down that coastline in the morning, and I've got the benefit of seeing the sun come up. And when you've got the colours coming through the sky with, say, your favourite music playing, you're then essentially carrying out your favourite exercise, the whole thing just becomes like it's almost like being in paradise for that first couple of hours before you go to work. Now, that elevation of dopamine and feel-good factor in your body, when you get to work, you're charged up, you're fired up, that fire's burning inside of you, and you're essentially ready to take on anything that comes your way. The stuff that I'm involved with, anything could happen on a daily basis in terms of meetings, clients, customers, whatever it may be. And essentially, you can just tackle anything. You can literally take any situation. The slower thought process helps you understand it before you even speak. That's one thing I've learned. You need to listen first and then speak afterwards. And it just helps you become so much more efficient throughout the working day. And it's actually very pleasant to be able to do that, to work for your 8 hours or whatever it may be, come home and relax, knowing that you've done the absolute best that you possibly can for everybody around you. And then you can enjoy your evening, whatever that may be. And most of the time for me, it's a case of going to the gym, or I might pop down to the sea, go for another dip, just depending on what's going on. But I do feel that downtime for me is when I'm sleeping. I don't really have what you would call like a chill time. I don't really watch TV. I try and focus on reading, listening to music, or interacting with friends. I just find that a much better use of time. I mean, the television thing, I've stopped watching that probably about 2 weeks ago, and I'm finding that my mindset's so much clearer because I'm not filling it with a lot of stuff that's essentially, it's just not helping me develop as a person. And that's the kind of mindset that I'm trying to instill this year to really make a massive change in what I'm doing and who I am as a person as well.
Why are you embarked on that journey?
A lot of change. There's a lot of change happened recently. I had a relationship for 10 years that's recently ended. So I thought that it was really critical that I made some changes in my own lifestyle that would help me essentially grow and develop as a person, because I don't want to stand still. And I feel that if I don't push the boundaries, I'm never going to understand what my limitations are. And the excitement factor of the running, for example, when you're racing, to improving that just keeps me going. And I think at the moment, the big change is just trying to find new things to stimulate the brain. And the TV is not one of those things that I'm interested in. I just find it, the sort of sitting on a sofa and relaxing is something that I'm just trying to keep out of my mindset. I mean, I'm sitting on a breakfast bar at the moment, and I've done that for the past couple of weeks, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Sitting reading a book. I'm reading one called The 10 Times Rule by Grant Cardone. I don't know whether you've heard of that book or not, but I'm only a couple of chapters in, and it's an absolutely fantastic book. And that's all about effort, pushing the boundaries, and the amount of effort that you put into something is essentially the reward that you're going to get. And you can't just sit back and just let things happen, because if you do, you're not gonna get to where you want to be. And for me, it's really important that when I'm done with this journey, that I've pushed it to the absolute limit and not necessarily achieved, the fastest times, the most amount of money from working or whatever it may be, but I'm just satisfied that I've done everything that I can to get to the point that I get to as well.
It's definitely a development of a character, right? And that's a journey, and I found dudes need a little bit more of an extreme environment to push themselves to that limit. Ladies are a little smarter than we are. We have to kind of chuck ourselves in our own hell and be like to figure that out, and I think it's necessary, and I also think it's necessary that we need to instill it into young men, you know. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying like kick them out and be like feed them to the wolves, survive or
Yeah.
die type shit. You're like, no, like we got to slowly help the facilitation of this development of the character, right? But we have to preach in a way and let people know that it's okay to try shit out, different things, and it's okay
Mhm.
to kind of come down a little bit in the mind. You're not clinically depressed. I'm not just going to give you pharmaceuticals if you're not like bounding off the walls for one day. It's okay.
Yeah.
We can come down, figure ourselves out, and then come back up again, as long as we come back up again, you know. And usually that
Absolutely.
means, you know, cutting out TV, cutting out the noise, cutting out people sometimes, cutting out, you know, a habit that you've been doing. A lot of times people are smoking or stop drinking, or they change, go from CrossFit to running, or they do something else, right? And you're like, yeah, just try something, you
Yeah,
know, and you
definitely.
slowly start on that journey.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. And I mean, I got lucky in one respect with regards to the running, but I do a lot of weight training as well. So the running never got me into like shape that I really felt confident with. Like I was physically fit, but I wasn't happy with what I could see in the mirror. Now that obviously that's it deflates you in terms of confidence.
Hmm.
So I approached the coach that I've got at the minute. I started working alongside him in April last year. Started at about 92 kilos, not in good shape whatsoever. And we finished the initial journey at 76 kilos.
Wow.
And I'd essentially managed to gain so much strength, but also managed to strip the body down where I was confident what I could see. So, for example, if I'm going down in the water for a dip and I'm in a pair of shorts, I don't feel self-conscious. I'm just happy that it's me, and if somebody wants to judge that, then that, so be it. But I'm not. I wouldn't let it affect me as a person anymore.
Hmm.
Whereas in the past, it was a massive issue. So I think it's just trying to find a collection of activities that work for that individual as well. For me, the main focus is try and find something that you enjoy, that you don't force yourself to do it. Now, a lot of people go to the gym, but they hate it. Don't go to the gym. Try something new. Go for a walk. Go into nature. One of my other favorite activities is going hiking. So I normally allocate a Saturday to go with a group of different friends on a regular basis, although I do like doing the ones on my own, just for thinking time. Spend 4 or 5 hours in the mountains over on the opposite side of the country. And that, again, slows your thought processes down. But it also allows you to take people with you that may be struggling a bit as well. And you can just have open conversations, and it helps thrash out a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally feel confident in talking about. But it also helps strengthen that sort of group of friends as well. So I'm finding that my friendships groups are moving quite a lot. So I don't see so many people because I don't associate with going out drinking or raving or whatever it may be anymore. And it's more so on the sports side of things. So like sport and activities, if people are into that, then obviously you're naturally drawn towards them in that respect because they've got the same energy levels as well.
Yeah, it's difficult, right? When you kind of go through a transition period and be like, I want to change a habit for a different one and change a destructive one to a constructive one, and people let you change, right? And you're like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the point, bro. I told you that's what's gonna happen. Like, I'm trying to
yeah,
change. Like, no, you changed. I was like, yeah, in a good way, mate. Like,
hmm,
we can either figure this out and still be good mates, or like you can keep on spinning your plates and I'm gonna go this way now, you know. And
yeah,
that gets lonely sometimes. And I've spoken to a lot of people, and they don't want to change, even though they know they need to. They know they need to, right? But
yeah.
they don't want to change because they fear losing people. What I say is, you know, if you lose people because you change to benefit your own life, then they weren't your people in the first place. You know.
Yeah, and it's a sad. It is sad that when you do lose contact with people. I mean, we've got a good friendship group around us, quite a broad friendship group. So you kind of dip in and out of circles, so depending on what's going on. But I'm finding that at the minute the focus is with the ones like, for example, the guy that I went running with at the weekend, one of my best friends, and we just collectively went, right, let's go and run a marathon. And that's the kind of energy that really makes me feel alive. Or last night, for example, another really good friend took me surfing for an hour and got an absolute battering off the waves, but it makes you feel alive. The sun was shining, it was a beautiful night, and it's just like, it's good experiences. For me, experiences over money, that is the focal point. Obviously, work hard, do what you've got to do, but that's not a driver for me. It's really not. I just want to make a difference with what I'm doing, and obviously there'll be a byproduct of that by obviously getting money in to service your own sort of lifestyle as well. But it's certainly about getting out there and just trying to see as much of the world as possible. I'm actually going up to Scotland shortly to work on a project and plan to travel throughout the whole West Coast on days off, just to experience everything that the North Coast has got to offer, and just see what Scotland's got. And I know that it's absolutely stunning from pictures, videos, all that sort of stuff, and feedback from others. And I couldn't recommend it enough, just to get outside, get out and just move and just take in that fresh air and just watch how much it can change your perspective on life.
Yeah, and just get a little disconnected.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
I think being connected is great, and that's how we're communicating now, right? And you're building friendships with people, and you can really develop that through distance, and that's awesome. But at the same time, like, I think we need to be able to switch off. You don't need to take your phone. When we fucking went out as kids, you don't take your phone. You go to your buddy's house, right? And if there's bikes outside the house, everybody's there. If there's not, you knock on, they don't answer, cool, you go to the next one. And like, nobody knows where you are. They're just spending the day trying to find you. Right
Yeah,
now, we're like lay on the couch trying to text each other, and it's like, how about you get off your fat ass and go fucking find out, you know?
yeah, definitely.
And it's this kind of spiritual epiphany and a meditative state, in my opinion, and
Mhm.
I love it. Like, I need at least one a year where I just, one of the reasons why it's called the Nomadic Podcast is I go on a nomadic trip, I just disappear. Like, nobody hears
Yeah,
nothing. I delete everything from my phone. I go complete battery reset. I just go, and then as soon as I feel good, I turn around and come back again. I'm like, oh, hey guys,
yeah.
like, where the fuck have you been? I was like, I don't really know, but I just went for a little bit of a cleansing process, I guess, and then I'm back. Let's give it some big licks again. I think we need it.
Yeah, totally. And I think the issue is, though, that a lot of people don't acknowledge the fact that that's an opportunity for them to reset. They just go about their daily lives and they're just plodding on, and unfortunately won't reach that potential. And I find that not frustrating, but I just wish that, like, the reason why I post what I do is so that people can see that just a normal person like me can go out there and basically do anything that I want to do and just experience what the world's got to offer as well. It's such a simple process. There's a small outlay of cost for the kit that you're going to use, but then after that, the cost's nothing. It's free, and the benefit is so big. I explain it to people that I wish I could bottle it up and pass to them a little proportion of how it makes you feel on a daily basis, because some people would never experience that, and I find that quite sad, because
Mm.
it's, for me, it's like, it's almost like an awakening in that respect, and that's the kind of journey that I'm on now, to keep pushing these boundaries just to see how far I can possibly take things.
Mm.
And yeah, it's such a fulfilling experience.
But unfortunately, the reality is, like, if we're able to give them something and they've not earned it, and they're not going to appreciate it, right? Like, if we go out in the mountains, in the hills, or for a run, a hike, or whatever, we had to lace up our shoes, get in the car, get there, and go for that hike or that run, right? And we get that sense of achievement because you got out and did it. But if you're able to,
Yeah,
like, no, look, guys, they're not going to get the same. It's the same as with a kid. You give them pocket money every week for doing nothing. You're like,
yeah,
okay, great. They're not going to earn the value of a dollar. It's like, no, go scrub the toilet, go clean the car or something. No, here's £2. Like, you end up developing that relationship with it of like, oh, this is earned. You're like, oh, sweet. Okay. Oh, okay. I got to go out for the hike. I got to get there. But then I get that euphoric feeling, and I
yeah.
think I think it just increases that feeling that we get, you
Oh, it
know,
does.
totally increases it.
It does, and it's like I suppose it's like a roller coaster. You like once you've felt it once, you just want to keep repeating it.
Mm.
You've got to be mindful that you don't do too much. Like I'm reminded by a lot of people that I'm constantly on the move and I'm doing too many different activities. My response is that I totally understand what I'm doing, and if I feel an element of burnout coming, then I know how to deal with it, and I will rein it back. But if I've got energy inside of me, it needs expelling. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep at night, for example. I mean, when we're finished here, I'm going straight to the gym to do a big leg session. And I was in the sea this morning and I've already run an 8K. So that's the kind of mindset and mentality that I've got. Keep moving, keep developing, and just see how far you can push things.
And see what you learn along the way, right?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And you will crash, you will burn, it will feel hard. Not every day is a good day, but that's all part of the journey. You just have to learn how to ride that wave. And then once you can sort of master that side of things, you realize that your brain, obviously, as powerful as it is, you can essentially control those thoughts. So, meditation, cold water dip, and all that sort of process, they're the things that help just keep me on that nice level playing field when things do get a little bit rough and rocky. And it helps essentially save you from making any bad decisions, really, more than anything.
Brother, I got 3 questions.
Mm-hmm.
What's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
I think the biggest piece of advice would be from my granddad before he passed away. And he said, just make sure whatever you're doing, that you enjoy it. And that's all that matters.
I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
What a legend.
Oh, he is an absolute legend through and through.
What's the worst piece of life advice you've ever received?
The giving up's all right in respect of goals, because I really don't think that it is.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people drop the ball too soon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Too easy. That's too easy. That's not the way that we want to work.
Well, we seek comfort.
Yeah,
That's
but comfort's dangerous, basically.
fuck that. Not for me, mate.
No, definitely not.
Not for the Northerners. Come on, lad. We don't know what comfortable is.
No, exactly.
We're always cold, mate.
Always cold, mate. Aye, absolutely, absolutely.
But we're always wearing shorts out of principle.
I know. Just to prove a point.
Yeah, especially you Geordies, you're crazy.
I know. That'll be why I'm in the sea when it's -2 in the morning, proving a point. But no, it's all good, mate. It's all good.
Proving a point to who? I don't know, but I'm proving that point.
To myself that it can be done. That's
Yeah,
the key.
100%. What are the 3 words you would tell your younger self?
Never give up.
It's profound, mate. Thank you so much, brother. This has been an
Thank you
honor
very
and a
much.
privilege.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Make sure you smash those legs in the gym, though, yeah?
I will do, mate. Don't you worry.
And then we'll get going on a hike whenever I get home.
Yeah, spot on. Keep in touch, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, mate. See some scenery in the north. Talk some shit. Put the world to rights. And get a beer when we get back down.
Absolutely, mate.
My
Absolutely.
man. All right.
It's been a pleasure.
Speak soon, brother.
Thanks, man. See you soon.
Thank you, man. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.